This is a Podfire production.
Welcome to the Two Cripples, One Pair of Legs podcast, where every fortnight, your hosts, Adam Sheppard and Natasha Price, take a long, hard look at the world through the eyes of two people who believe in grabbing life by the balls and squeezing tighter than Borat in a Mankini. The good, the bad, the often cringeworthy, but most importantly, the hilarity that can and often does ensue. If you're looking for fluffy sunshine and rainbows, My Little Pony meets Care Bears type of purity, you've probably come to the wrong place. If you're after good conversation, warped humour, quick wit, a touch of sarcasm, two proud people with disabilities with the no holes barred, leave no stump unturned outlook on life, welcome home. All right, how we doing?
Hey, we're good. I'm good. Are you good?
I'm a bit of a mess. But
You're a bit of a mess. Why? What's wrong?
Look, let's introduce our guest and then I'll tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. So in studio today, we have got a guest co-host with us, a little bit like we did last week. Hi, JC.
G'day, Pommy.
How you doing?
Good, Shep.
Can we see him over the top of the table? You're a short
I feel like
ass.
Dickie Nee. Don't you talk.
You kind of sound a bit like him too, I got to be
Mr.
honest.
Summers, Mr. Summers.
Were you Dickie Nee?
Mate, I would love to have been Dickie Nee, but I don't know if the pole would have fitted up my ass.
Yeah. True.
So JC is a fellow cripple. He, I affectionately know him as Bob. He has.
Actually, that's why she calls me Crouton.
I know, right? He also has no legs. So today we are the Three Crips, One Pair of Legs show.
With
Apparently,
literally one pair of legs between the three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we will.
Hey, can I just ask, have you ever been in a room with two half of bodies before, Pommy?
No, this is a first for
This is
me.
a first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Poor Ruby was shitting her pants too, by the way.
Yeah, I bet she
She
was.
didn't know what to do.
Poor bugger.
Didn't know where to look.
So we will introduce JC properly later for the water cooler, but we're going to have him joining in with some of our other segments today.
Guest
so
co-host.
exactly
Who
right.
freaking who?
So don't hold back, JC. Say whatever the fuck you want, mate.
Yes, ma'am.
How's your week been?
Yeah, good. Well, I've been putting up with you all week, so maybe
have.
not that
I ask you this every
good.
week.
I
And
know,
I know
we
how your
and
week's been because you've been with me. so,
exactly.
yeah.
We do know this.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm a little bit fucked up.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
We knew
we
I'm a
know
little bit
this.
fucked up, but
Everybody
I
knows
gotta look
this.
at your head, bro.
yeah, well, I know. So for those of you that follow me on Facebook, you'll have known that I did well. It wasn't a full night, a few hours in my son's fire truck bed.
I did hear about this.
Yeah,
What
and
the fire truck?
what's that?
What the fire
What
truck?
the fire truck?
What the fire truck?
Oh, look, as a dad, Mr. 6, he's now 6. He was 6 last week. Jesus, last week? Yeah,
Where does
last
it
week.
go, bro?
Oh, I know. He's like, Dad, will you sleep next to me? I'm like, yeah, dude, with all intention of, getting up and, moving. And anyway, I climbed in and holy shit, this thing is uncomfortable. And then I've got Mr. 6 who's longer than I am, obviously. And, I've got feet in my face and bloody...
You haven't had that for a while.
Yeah, so true. So consequently, my back is pretzeled at the moment.
Oh, here we go. Get the fucking violins out.
Oh, fuck, I'll tell you
It's
what.
all about being a parent, mate.
I know.
Suck it up.
Well, I know. And I wouldn't have given it up for the world, but I am...
Wait till you put your hand in a toilet bowl full of piss to pull out a set of keys. You done that yet?
I have not, no.
No.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. Wait till you catch your kids vomit in your hands and we have no legs and we can't move.
I remind Fletch daily, the second day he was alive, I've got him on the end of my wife's hospital bed changing his nappy, and no shit.
No shit.
No, there was no shit, but there was definitely piss.
Straight up and into my lap.
A fair fountain.
I'm like day 2 and he had really good aim already.
Well, mate, that's like our friendship. It's like wetting your pants.
This is a good, yeah. Oh,
You know,
yeah.
that's how I see our friendship. It's like wetting your pants.
Oh, really?
Everybody can see it, and only I can feel the warm
No.
sensation.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey,
Oh,
brothers for life.
Jesus.
Aw. How's your week been? What have you
Mate,
been
my
up to?
week has been pretty good, actually. I started a lifestyle change and on a health kick.
Go
And
you.
look, I'm going to be brutally honest with you guys. I got on the scales on the 2nd of January.
Yep.
And half a body tipped the scales at 83.6 kilos.
Yeah.
Scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been that heavy
Yeah.
for 25 years
Yeah,
when I
okay.
first got sick
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Mm.
And in fact, I was a little bit heavier than that. And that put my ass into gear.
Mm-hmm.
to do something about it.
Yeah,
Because,
awesome.
you know, as especially the pair of you know,
Yep.
that our arms, our shoulders, our elbows, our wrists,
Yep.
they're not load-bearing joints.
Definitely
They're
not.
not built for that,
No,
you know.
exactly.
And I'm really noticing, especially over the last probably 3, 4, 6 months, that the toll that it's taking on my body,
Yeah.
carrying around all these extra fucking bags of potatoes.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and I got bigger titties than my wife.
That sounds like a problem.
I wonder why you're looking at me funny, Tash.
it's the bigger cup size, you know,
Keep
it's
your
doing
hands
it
to
for
yourself,
me.
young lady. That's all I need to say.
Hey, there you go,
I'm
Jesus.
jealous, very jealous.
Should I move over? So, oh, my
You stay right there.
Yeah. But well, mate, that's good to hear. I mean, you know, we all know, you know that I've had my fair of health shit going on.
Absolutely.
And you know, health
Yep.
is number one for. Well, health should be number one for everyone. Unfortunately, we live in a society where a lot of the time it's a lot of. Thankfully for a lot of people, it's not too late, but
Yep.
they get pretty bloody close to being it being too late
And it,
before they get the kick up the arse they need.
and it always takes something drastic
Yeah.
before people realise.
Yeah.
You know, whether
Always.
they have a heart attack or they have a fucking stroke or someone very close to them dies.
Yeah.
Shit, I need to get my act in gear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's adversity that makes you take action, because until that point you take life for granted.
I don't know how you're talking about that. You've never had adversity in your life, Tommy.
No, never, never. My life's easy as shit.
Of course it is.
Have you? So do you get cholesterol and all that sort of shit checked?
For the first time in my life, I'm on cholesterol tablets now.
Yeah. Okay.
For the first
wow.
time.
Yeah.
And I've inherited blood pressure from my old man.
Yep.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
But I take a pill every couple of days for that.
Yep.
And of course, you know, with the wear and tear on my body over the last 53 years, you know, where you've mostly used your wheelchair.
Yeah.
Right. I got
You
out of
used a
my
skateboard.
chair. Well, I got out of my chair when I was 14
Yeah.
onto a skateboard, and a lot of that time
Yeah.
I was living on my arms.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
all that weight and that load bearing for 50, well, let's say 52 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's starting to take its toll on the joints, the
100%.
elbows.
Yeah.
You know, my left elbow is absolutely screwed. It looks like a bloody dog leg.
Mm.
It's all just bent so bad. I've broken it 3 times.
Jesus. Yeah.
Complete immobilization.
Yeah.
And
And we're all a little bit screwed if we stuff up our arms, aren't we?
we break our arms, mate. We've got to get our wives to wipe our ass.
This is true.
And
Yeah.
my wife did that once, and she used sandpaper, and fuck that, I'm not going there again.
I'm a bit freaky, but not quite into it that much.
Oh my God.
Thank God you're not married to us then, let me tell you.
Oh, jeez. Shall we get into this?
Yes, we should.
Let's do it.
I'm going to hit the button. And once
And
again,
hopefully get it right.
and once again, thank you, Ruby, for labeling the button so I don't fuck it up. All right, you're going to take point on this one, Tash?
I am.
Because I think you've got a bugbear with this one.
Oh God, I really do. It's something that's completely doing my head in at
Share
the
with
moment,
us.
and I'm wondering if you two have this problem too. Instagram. At the moment, I am constantly getting tagged in stories and posts by people trying to sell me shit. I get at least 10, 15 a day mostly from the clothing company Shein. It's like
I think I've.
fuck me dead, and it's just constant barrage of people saying be an ambassador, or can I sell you this, or you've won a competition. I'm like, well, fuck off. It's bullshit to start with. It's complete bullshit. It's just people trying to scam you. But does anybody else get these constant tags and constant stories that are then affiliated with your account of people trying to sell shit?
Yes.
Yeah.
We should preface this. We should actually let you know, because you're kind of new to hanging out with us doing this. But social media takedown, which is this segment, is just all about us giving shit to something that's happened on social media.
Well, I get those tags all the time, Tash. All the time. I mean, I've got, I think, over 600,000 followers on my Insta.
Yeah, so I bet you get it
And
a lot.
I get so many. But every time one comes in, which is many a day,
Yeah.
I block them
Yeah,
straight
me
up.
too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Block and delete, block and delete,
Yeah.
block and delete.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. And for the first time, I had someone actually make a fake account. I think it was last week or the week before, in my name.
In your name.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I've
that's
had to action
interesting.
that.
I've had that happen to me on TikTok, but
Yep.
not on any of the other channels yet. But
Yep.
my God, they go to a lot of lengths to try and make the accounts look like
They
you.
got my
Hey,
photos. I mean, they're easy to
Yeah.
get photos off the internet. You
Yeah.
know, it's very easy to do
yeah.
that. But the big thing is the blue tick. If it doesn't have the blue tick, it's
Then
not
you know
good.
exactly
So,
right.
and lucky I'm fortunate enough to have the blue tick.
Yeah.
I want a blue tick.
Yeah, I know. For some reason,
I'm not
we
cool
can't
enough.
get it. No,
No,
we
I
can't
can
get
give you a
him.
big fist, but not a blue tick.
Oh, Jesus. It's getting very, very worrying in here now.
I know. I'm getting scared.
But yeah, like, surely there's some way of stopping this from happening all the time. It's so frustrating when you're trying to stay on top of your account for, business purposes
Yeah.
to just have to constantly flick through,
Fish through
delete
all this
things.
shit.
And yeah, exactly.
Do people actually think it works though?
And that's what does my head in. Surely none of this works for any of them.
No,
The problem
I wouldn't
is,
think so.
for us it won't work, right? Because we got our smarts about us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it'll
some
only
of us
take
do.
one or two. Yeah, sorry. Shep. But for the one or two people that aren't including quite that well,
Mm.
they're the ones that are going to get taken advantage of.
Yeah,
and
100%.
that makes me really sad because it's generally the people that don't understand these things, that don't have the training and haven't spent time getting to know how it all works, that actually really get taken advantage of and
Yeah.
taken for a ride. And
Yeah.
you hear all sorts of terrible stories. I mean, a lot of this stuff is just small shit that probably isn't going to do too much damage, but you hear of people getting taken for all sorts of rides on social media, losing hundreds of thousands of dollars because some Nairobian prince has come along and offered somebody an absolute shit ton of money, and they've believed it and handed over money for their bullshit stories, and it's just awful.
Where are you getting most of yours from?
Most of my money.
Most of you.
You idiot. you spam.
My spam. All over the place, actually.
Now, 50 years ago, spam was a different thing.
Yeah, I
It
know. Oh, I
was.
You
know.
buy it in Woolworths
Yum.
and eat it. I hated it.
Oh, really?
Ugh.
Spam sandwiches, spam fritters.
Yuck. Well, you're a palm.
I'm a palm, yeah.
They eat weird shit.
We
over
do.
there.
So where do you get most of that crap coming from? Is one particular site or is it many?
No, many sites, to be honest. It seems
I
to
get
be
a lot
all
of
over.
individuals.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
They're usually affiliated, like lots of individuals affiliated
Absolutely.
to one brand.
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah.
and mine generally come from Middle East
Yep.
yeah,
or the subcontinent.
yeah,
There aren't too many from anywhere else. It's
yeah. This
mostly
is true.
the Middle East subcontinent. So.
Yeah.
I don't get them at all because I'm not that fucking popular.
Because you're a wank.
Pretty much. We don't want to do that.
Oh, do we need
No,
to increase
or
things for
maybe-
you?
Ruby, can you bring him a tissue? He's having a cry.
or maybe it's just that they know that I wouldn't fall for that shit.
No.
Nah, you're just not as popular as us.
The tickets are going to go
As
flying.
a brainiac. It kind of it is though. Like it's a people on social media and they know that they've got an audience there that somebody. It's like fishing.
Yeah.
Well, it is fishing in a way.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
Somebody's gonna.
You wait for
Someone's
that
going to bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are
100%.
those people that do.
Yeah.
Those little naive brims and flathead that
Yeah.
bloody find that big hook and think it's really juicy on there and they jump on board.
And fall
Yeah.
for it. Yeah. Poor buggers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not good. Not good at all.
All right.
Hey, do we have a solution for this though, is the thing?
Get off social media.
No,
Yeah.
don't
do that.
Delete your account.
Don't do that.
No, we can't.
We
do
can't.
that.
Don't want to affect our engagement.
No. It is. It's funny. We are in a world now where everyone, even if you're not into the whole social media thing, people are so reliant on it to run business.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter if you sell coffins for a living. Caskets or whatever.
Yeah.
You've got to have a social media presence.
Well, have you noticed that there's no more yellow pages?
Mm.
Yeah, this is true.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you know what? Let's look at that for a minute, right? Everybody, you have all your details and all that online. We used to do that 30 years ago in a book.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to have your address, your phone number, and
Yeah.
everything else was in a book and went out to everybody's house.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep.
And now it's online.
Now it's online. I know a guy that who still gets them and he shoves them in a backpack. He uses them as exercise and he throws them in a backpack and that's his weight.
Hey, it's
Wow.
cheaper than buying weights, that's for sure.
Cheaper than buying a weight.
Oh,
vest.
yeah. Right.
When I first started driving, my old man taped 3 Sydney yellow pages together,
Mm.
and that was my cushion to see over the dash.
Oh, that makes sense.
That was my very first cushion.
I love that.
Yeah, it was A to K, L to Z, then L to
Hey.
Z again.
Hey,
Wow.
why not?
Yeah.
Hey,
And the old duct tape, mate.
Hey, lots of uses for that.
Oh, yes.
Hang on.
We need some now.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, some ingenuity going on there.
We're only going to use it on you, so that's
Oh,
okay.
shit. All right. All right. Well, I suppose we better get on to the next.
Yeah, go on.
Segment.
Do
Yeah.
it.
The water cooler.
This is where you come in, JC.
Yeah,
Oh, shit, I thought I
absolutely.
was already in.
You are.
You are
So
in.
this is our interview segment where we get to basically
Hammer me.
ask you questions
Very
and
good.
annoy the shit out of. I annoy the shit out of you anyway.
Of course you do, and I don't mind.
Yeah, that's what we
And
do.
My brothers do.
I'm going to
Exactly.
I'm going to do a proper introduction
Oh,
for
please
you.
do.
Young John Cootis. Give me a moment so I can actually see what the hell I'm doing because
You
it's
can't see shit. You're
no,
blind.
exactly right. So,
Oh,
John J.C. Cootis. Hello, young man.
that's him.
Hello, Pommy.
Nice to see you. Is a remarkable Australian who was born with
Jesus,
I know,
here we
right?
go.
I know. Or like, let's put the stars above your head. Was born with a severe physical disability in which doctors gave him little chance of survival. John has not only defied medical opinion, he has thrived and is acknowledged as one of the world's most inspirational speakers. Without,
This guy.
yeah, I know, right? Sounds like a good dude to
I know a
know.
guy kind of like him, but he's a pain in the ass. No,
Without the lower part of his body, John embraces a full and positive life. He rolls around on his custom skateboard, which he's not on today, and uses humour to communicate some of life's most important lessons. John has delivered his inspirational message to over 6 million people around the world, speaking at events to compliment former US President Bill Clinton, global entrepreneur Richard Branson, former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, and the late Stephen Covey and former South African President Nelson Mandela. That's freaking cool.
that's really
Thank
cool.
you. Thank
I
you. thank you.
love that. Like that's one hell of a bio to have, mate.
Yeah, it's not
yeah.
too shabby.
Not too shabby
That's
at
all
all.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, on to you, dude.
Wicked. So your disability and my disability, I think I don't know how, they're kind of like from the same family.
Yeah, same
I
trunk
guess.
of the tree.
Yeah, same trunk of the tree.
You
That's
know,
a good way of
just-
putting it. I like that.
just
I'm going to
different
use
branches.
that. Yeah, pretty much.
That's
yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
You
spine
You know,
diff.
so we're both spiners.
Yep.
But I'm sacroagenesis.
Yes.
Which means I have the hole in my back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And which also means that my lower lumbar stops at the base of my ribs.
Yes.
That's why I'm a lot shorter than you.
Yes.
Okay, so and that's why my
Which
legs.
really takes something.
I was about to say that. That's bloody hard work.
I'm pretty sure.
He's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
short ass.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why my legs were deformed the way that they were,
Yes.
and my hips were inverted. My stumps went out sideways, where
Mm-hmm.
yours, go where normal legs would go, down over the front.
Most of the
mostly.
time.
Well, they don't anymore.
Not anymore. No. And you're welcome for that advice.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And the biggest, or one of the biggest challenges I have, being a spiner, is especially the sacrogenesis, is the fact that because I don't have that lower lumbar,
Yep.
my kidneys and my liver, if I sat up straight like you are, which
Yep.
you feel very comfortable in doing,
Mm.
because you have that lower lumbar.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I did that, I
Mm.
could do it for maybe 10, 15 seconds, but my kidneys and liver would actually get compressed up into my lung cavity.
Ouch.
And then it doesn't hurt so much, but I would die of lack of oxygen.
As I say, so it affects your breathing quite
Absolutely affects my
considerably. Yeah,
respiratory system
yeah.
because your diaphragm doesn't have a chance to open up and
Yep.
things like that. That's why most of the time, when we go out,
Yep.
I'm on the table
Mm-hmm.
and leaning forward on my elbows.
And that's when he hasn't even had a drink yet.
I know, and on the table.
He's already on the table.
So, and that's how and why that happens. And you see me fidget and farting and moving around.
Yeah.
That's just me trying to suck in a little bit more extra oxygen. So
Yeah, fair call.
if I
Yeah.
passed out onto the floor, it'd be bloody hilarious.
Yeah, well, I'm sure shit not giving you mouth to mouth.
Oh.
Hell no.
Couldn't think of anything
I'll
worse.
leave. I'll leave.
Oh no, I'm all right, thanks.
I couldn't think of anything worse than those hair lips wrapped around
So
my lips.
my
Shit,
first
did I
aid.
just say that hair lip?
Oh, my first aid certificate isn't valid anymore. Whoops.
Thank God.
Shit.
So, and that's besides the obvious other things,
Yep.
that's my biggest challenge, and of
Yep.
course, the bowel bladder and all that movement
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
as well. So,
Yeah.
which I think we would be on a par with.
Yep.
But that's not something that I generally talk about unless I get asked. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I don't mind talking
No,
about it.
no,
But
it's
not
one
in
of those.
general conversation.
No, one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what gets JC up in the morning aside from an alarm clock?
John, an elbow in the back from the missus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or a shove
John,
out of bed, or the
John,
dog,
get up.
or the dog scratching me. It's not John, get up. Hey, Dick, come on, let's go. So, well, you know what? This morning I got up. I was awake at 3:27, and then sat on the can for 90 minutes.
Yep.
You know, because I had a bit of a stomach upset.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, I lost 700 grams.
Yeah,
Most
good
of it.
job.
Good job.
Good way to
Yeah,
lose
yeah.
weight.
Take it any way you can get it.
You beauty. So, and it's just like I love getting up early. I love getting up early. You know, the 5 o'clock club.
Yep.
You know, sometimes when I go and train at 5 o'clock, obviously I'm up before that.
Yep.
I just think that there's no better time of the day than first thing in the morning. On average, most people get up at 7 a.m. on average. But do you know that if you wake up 2 hours earlier at 5 a.m., you're not only adding an extra 2 hours to your day, by the end of the calendar year, you've added 2 months.
That's cool.
2 months.
That's a cool stat.
That's 2 months to get shit done.
Yeah.
And you know the good thing
That's
about
what we
5
need.
you know the
We
good thing
get
about
up at 5 a.m.
You know the
Oh,
good...
do.
Dickhead.
Get up at 5:30.
You know the good thing about 5 a.m.? There's no one else around.
Exactly.
There's no one to bother you.
Mhm.
Whether you got to study, do chores,
Yep.
meditate,
Yeah.
Pilates, yoga, go
Yep.
train,
Yeah, exactly.
maybe prepare your food for the week. Whatever it is that you got to do.
Yeah, yeah.
5 a.m. You got peace and quiet to get it done.
And how
But
good
that-
is it? Sorry, go
I
on.
was just going to say that only works though if you only gain those extra hours though if you also go to bed at the same time as you were previously. If
Shut
you
up, Tash.
if you need to actually go to bed earlier because you were up earlier, don't kind of work.
Well, I go to bed early. I'm in bed by 9 o'clock.
See, and that's the problem. I'm up early and then to bed late because I can't.
So what are you calling late?
Oh, like midnight, 1 o'clock.
Oh, well, hence the head.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Exactly.
But, mate, you know what? A lot of people forget that if you are run down, you are sick. A lot of people run to the doctors.
Yep.
You know, they're looking for, shit, I need this or I need this. You know the number one thing you need?
Guess
Sleep.
what?
Sleep.
Oh,
Sleep.
100%.
100%.
Sleep
100%.
cures so
Yep.
much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So much stuff.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about sleeping in front of the TV on a lounge, on the lounge.
Proper
I'm
sleep.
talking about going to bed and sleeping.
Yep.
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 You know, if you need a little bit of a dose of a little pill or whatever else to help you sleep,
Yep.
mate, I'm telling you now, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Huge
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. I know for me, like if I'm feeling crook, I generally a good.
Don't go to the fire truck bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely don't go to the fire truck. Just maybe a new mattress on it or something and sort it out. I mean, let's face it, the length of it is fine. You know?
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Hey, have you thought
know,
of
but and little Fletcher's putting up with it.
Yeah. Well, he's 6 and,
so it
deal
doesn't
with
count?
anything at 6.
Why don't you get a mattress topper for it?
It's not a bad idea.
I know. I have good ideas
do.
occasionally.
You do.
Fair
Occasionally.
effort for me to do that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Maybe then he might actually sleep in his own bed instead of keeps
Mhm.
sneaking into ours. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, cool. So, what got you into motivational speaking?
Mate, I was in the right place at the right time. I was doing a little bit of work with the Cricket Association in Sydney.
Yep.
And a great mate of mine by the name of James Knight,
Oh yeah.
who used to work at Channel 10,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a TV show, a late night TV show called Sports Tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing some stuff with Bankstown Cricket in the first grade,
Mm-hmm.
and he came and did a story on me, and it was fantastic. Back then, I was a lot more nimble and
Yep.
everything back in those days. I was playing a lot of indoor cricket myself and
Yep.
table tennis and all that stuff.
You were the ball.
No, I was actually playing.
Oh, you were playing.
Yeah, I was actually playing.
Yeah, cool. All right.
So he came and did the story, and then he won an award for it.
Mm.
And then a Sydney businessman saw the story and asked me to go to his office for a meeting. And I went to his office, and that's how it all started.
Very cool.
That's
Very
really
cool.
cool.
That's really cool. So you speak to a really wide variety of people: sports people, schools,
Yep, communities,
business. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I love them all, but for me, if I was going to say anything, I would have to say senior primary school
Mm-hmm.
or senior high school.
Yeah.
I find it strange, especially with the senior high school students. And when I mean senior high schools, I'm talking years 10, 11 and 12,
Yep.
right? The ones that are about to have their lives changed.
Yep.
You know, year 10, you can get out of school or you can make a choice to go back to school.
Yeah.
Yep.
Year 12, you're about to embark on something very, very different.
Yep.
You're going to uni, got to get a trade, something's going to happen to you, right?
Yep.
And I find it sometimes overwhelming that a guy with no legs can go in there and speak for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and turn the light bulb on for these guys
Yeah.
when they've been in
100%.
school for fucking 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of them literally have no idea.
Yep.
Yep.
Like I can go there
100%.
and I ask them questions and I say to year 12 students, what are you going to do when you leave school? Oh, I don't know.
Mhm.
Hey, you better fucking start thinking about it.
Yeah, we're getting
The thing
close.
is, the thing
know?
is, school may teach you things, book skills, doesn't teach you about life skills
there's no
outside.
life
There's no building of the skills that are actually going to really make a difference once you leave that classroom.
I totally
And,
agree.
and that's where we're missing out on education in this country and many Western countries.
Yep.
It's missing that chance to actually connect kids with what's going to make a real difference in their lives once they go out into the big wide world.
Well, I'm a little bit older than you, Tash, right?
and sorry.
Cocksucker.
Why was that funny?
Me. But when I went to school, and even in primary school, we were taught to fill out bank, withdrawals and
Yep.
deposits,
Yeah.
how banks work.
Yeah.
We were taught discipline
Yeah.
as well, respect.
hmm
And the
Yep.
discipline and respect come from home,
Yeah.
before it even come into the school.
Yep.
And with me, like in the last, I will say, let's say 20, 22 years, I would have spoken in more than 5,000 educational systems around the globe, and they're all the damn same.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've become all the same, so mundane, so plain, and unless you're in a college in the US or, you have a scholarship to sport or something like that, it's just mundane stuff.
Yeah.
And they need to change it.
Yeah.
School for us was fun.
Yeah.
They've taken away monkey bars and you can't do bloody cartwheels anymore and you can't take a piece of cake for your friend on their birthday. The fuck's
I
going
know it's
on?
all about wrapping kids in cotton wool and actually not allowing them to
yeah.
experience anything about life. And the problem with that, of course, is kids don't actually have the skills to deal with life's pressures and just what happens every single day because they haven't learnt those skills at school, because you've got to experience things in order to learn them.
100%.
Well, look, I grew up in a mixed race family. My dad loved marathons. My mum was a sprinter. And geez, that took,
That's terrible. That took you a moment then,
Yeah,
didn't
it
it?
did. I was like,
It
hang
did
on,
take you
this
a
is
moment.
something I didn't know.
Oh.
Okay. Jimmy drops.
Jesus. I'm going to call you Milo from now on. You know why?
Why is
You're
that?
not quick.
Oh,
All right, now.
Jesus.
Rubes, you need to put a drum button on there. Yeah. Now, but when I grew up, in my family, like I've got two brothers and a sister. I've got an older brother, then there's me, then my younger brother, then my sister. And my two brothers are actually mentally retarded. They're not really, I just like saying that.
You're just trying to get the shock factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shitty the shit they say about me, mate. So, but, we were taught respect and, we were taught, and oh man, it was just so very different. But our golden rule in life growing up was that you treat people the way you wish to be treated.
100%.
And even still today, that comes down to exactly the morals and ethics that you should have.
Yeah.
And from me now being a dad to, my boy's now 28,
And he's a great guy too.
he's a good kid.
Yeah, he's good.
The three things that you can give your kids, the three key things to give your kids for them to grow up is love, and that's unconditional. From the time they pop out, bang, And I will say that there are some parents that struggle, with loving their kids first off, and that is a medical condition, And I don't feel sorry for too many people, but I really feel for those people.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
For 9
Must be
months they're really
awful.
looking forward to having this baby, and then it's here, and then they struggle.
Yeah.
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 And I can't imagine what that is like. The other thing you can give your kids, number two, is your time, because you can't get it back.
100%.
And so many parents, and I've seen it firsthand, that, the kids go in, they're dads are working or their mums are working, and the kids say, "Look what I did today! Look what I did today at school!" Blah blah blah. And Dad said, "Can't you see I'm on the phone?" Or I'm in a Zoom meeting. Or
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
2 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
Fuck, is it that hard?
Yeah.
Is it that hard?
Yep.
And the other thing is discipline.
Mm.
Let me tell you,
Yeah.
what is lacking in today's society, and we see it everywhere.
100%.
If you instill discipline in your child when they're young,
Yep.
they will turn that into self-discipline as they get older.
Exactly.
And that self-discipline will put them on the right path for the rest of their life.
Yep.
And then they will instill that in their kids.
Yep.
And I think the problem is nowadays parents too often are trying to be their kids' best friends rather than actually be their parents.
Absolutely
And
agree.
kids need boundaries. They need boundaries in order to be good humans and to understand that the world isn't solely revolved around them and develop into people that understand that we all have to be good to each other, kind and generous and thoughtful. And you can't be that if you don't have discipline and don't have those boundaries to start with.
You have to say no to your kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Shep, you'll know.
Yep.
And especially as Fletch gets
The
older.
first time you do it, it's fucking hard.
Of course it is.
And it always is.
Of course it is.
You
learn to get better
hate
at
it, don't you?
I do. You learn to get better at it, but
But sometimes, mate, you have to let your and this is so difficult to do, but you have to let your kids hurt themselves.
yeah.
You have to let them fall down.
Yep.
You know, you got to let them learn.
Yep.
Because in today's society, there used to be this thing called the helicopter parent.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Zoom,
absolutely.
zoom, zoom, hover over the top. Now that helicopter parent has been replaced.
Yeah, it's morphed.
With the lawn mowing parent. You know what the lawn mowing parent is? The lawn mowing parent gets out in front of their children, clears the way.
Yep. Yeah.
Clears the way,
And
right?
that doesn't teach
And
kids anything.
Teaches kids fucking nothing.
Yep. Exactly.
Gives them nothing,
Yeah.
especially resilience.
Yeah.
And by the time that kid turns 30, right, they've had no challenges, they've needed no resilience in their life,
Yep.
and all of a sudden something small happens, like maybe they might lose their job or
Yep.
one of their kids got sick. They don't know how to handle
Don't
it,
know how to handle it.
and they run back to
Exactly.
their parents. What do I need? But what if their parents aren't there?
Yeah.
But isn't this the fault of society? The fault that people don't see challenges as a good thing. It's all negative. That people aren't able to pick out the positives from the shit they've been through in
That's
life.
not society, Tash. That's parenting.
Yeah, it's
That's not society.
Yeah.
You know, because if look at the way that you were raised, and your old man was a marvelous soccer player.
Yeah.
Right? He played in the Premier League. Right?
Yeah.
He was very, very good. And the way that you were raised, right? Look at it, and then look at the way that other people are raised.
Yeah,
It's got
true.
nothing to do with society.
Yeah, true.
It all comes back to parenting.
Yeah.
And the lack of parenting that people want to do, the lack of responsibilities that people want to have for their kids.
Yep.
I mean, look at the shit that's going on down here on the Gold Coast with all these young car thieves
Oh,
and
God,
everything
it's
else.
just it's awful.
getting way out of control.
Yeah.
Way out of control. Give me a big stick, I'll fucking sort them out.
Oh Jesus.
I don't want to know what you're going to do with the big stick, to be honest.
Oh, Dickie, now you'll come out. Let me tell you.
Oh Jesus. So what does inclusion look like to you?
Inclusion for me looks like happiness.
Yep. Love it.
And I've spent a fair bit of time in China.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you a funny story. We were in China once, and we had a PA, and her name was Susanna. And I tell you, if my son was sitting right there, and if I just simply mentioned Susanna, he would be wetting his pants. She was as dumb as dog shit.
Oh dear.
Right? And like she would come on tour with us for 6 weeks,
Yeah.
and the luggage she would have would be a handbag.
Right.
She had one pair of knickers.
Oh Jesus.
So Leanne caught wind of what it was and took her to a supermarket and bought her clothes because she just had no idea.
Wow.
But
Oh, wow.
that's the way they think. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Mm.
Anyway, we pulled up at this hotel, and in China, you got to remember begging is still prevalent over there. It's massive.
Okay. Yeah.
It's in fact it's a business,
Yes.
right? Like I could rent you out, okay, and then somebody
Rent a grip.
No, you rent a grip.
Sounds like a good side
It
hustle
does.
to me.
Let's say I rented you to Pommy,
Yep.
right? Then Pommy could rent you to Ruby.
Yep.
And then Ruby would find
Subleasing, I
Yes,
like it.
is.
Subleasing. Yeah.
Right, and
Subleasing the crib.
And then Ruby would put you on a corner,
Yeah.
right? And she knows the corners.
Yeah.
And you would sit there, and you wouldn't have to do anything. But people put money in front of you.
Yeah.
Right, and then everybody gets paid.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned at this point about why Ruby knows street corners so well.
Yeah.
just saying.
Thank God she's not listening.
I know, right?
Or is she?
No, she's not listening.
We just got to look.
So anyway, we turn up this hotel, and there's this gentleman in the gutter,
Mm.
and his legs were like pipe cleaners. Right, remember the old pipe cleaners off play school?
Yep.
They were bent up all around the back of him and everything else. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, and I went, "Fuck you, poor bastard! You know, look at you."
Mm.
So I got to help you. You know, like, so I gave Susanna $100 Chinese dollars, equivalent 20 Australian bucks.
Yep.
Not much, right? But to them, hell of a lot of coin.
Mhm.
Yep.
I said, take this, go down there and get that man, put him in the taxi, and tell the taxi to take him somewhere nice and get him some food. You know, take him anywhere he wants to go. Good old Susanna takes the 100, runs down to the first taxi she sees,
Yeah.
gives it to the taxi driver, and says, "Go anywhere you want to go and have a feed."
Jesus
And this poor bastard was left in the bloody gutter.
Oh, no.
She completely missed the point,
Oh.
you know.
Yeah.
And I said, "They go,
What just
What
happened?
the fuck?
What?
wow." He just didn't understand,
Yeah.
and that's the way of life in some
Yeah.
of the places over there. you
Yeah.
know.
Just
Crazy.
yeah. So at 53,
Yep.
because you are 53,
Thank you,
you're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
mate. You come to my 50th
Yeah, I did. I know.
Yeah.
It was a great night.
at Melbourne.
It was a great night.
sensational.
It was a great night. It was a great night. Knowing what you know now,
Yes,
what advice would you give 10-year-old
10-year-old me.
10-year-old you?
You know, when I was 10-year-old, I was thrown in the bin, tied up, thrown in the bin. by school
Seriously?
kids.
What?
By school kids.
That's fucked
Oh,
up.
Jesus.
That was my first week in school.
Wow.
So, what I would tell my 10-year-old self
Yep.
would be to hang in there.
Yep.
When I was 12, I put a gun in my mouth.
Wow.
Fuck.
You know, I was ready because of the shit that I was going through
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
at the hands of other people.
Mhm.
And my life had just turned into the biggest pile of shit you'd ever want to see.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, we're talking, what's that, 40 years ago.
Mm.
You know, things were very,
Very
very
different.
different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very,
yeah.
very
Yeah.
different, you know.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it was just a shit time, you know,
Mm.
growing up in Western Sydney.
Mm.
It was a tough area.
Mm.
You know, it was a tough area.
Mm.
So, and the reason I didn't do it because my mum and dad for 12 years fought for my life,
Yeah.
fought to give me what I had.
Mm.
You know, and here I was about to steal that away from them. There was no way that was going to happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and I started thinking about all the good things I had in my life,
Yep.
and you know, what would it do to my brothers? What would it do to my sister?
Mm-hmm.
My nan, one of the first loves of my life.
Yep.
What would it have done to her?
Yeah.
You know, so with all the courage that we have in us, and we all have courage.
Yep.
You know, sometimes we struggle to find it.
Yep.
You know, we all have that courage, and I found my little drop of courage, and
Mm-hmm.
went back to school. And it was crazy time, mate.
Yeah.
Crazy time.
Yep. So hang
Yep.
in there.
Hang it. That's what I would give my 10-year-old self.
Yeah.
I would say to myself, hang in there. It does get better.
It does get
good
better.
advice.
And
Yeah.
had you have gone through those things, you wouldn't have had the opportunity to impact as many lives as you've had now.
Well,
so
that's what we said earlier, didn't
Yeah.
we? We
yep.
all have that adversity
Exactly.
that makes us stronger,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
you know?
So, notwithstanding your time as the ball for the Australian Rollers basketball team,
Yes.
tell us
Well, you
about.
know, I used to play basketball, really.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna. That was
really
gonna be
did
my
play.
question. So
I really did play, but I had to stop because I don't fit through the hoop.
don't fit the. Yeah.
Your arms kept getting stuck.
Hey, they're my stumps. I was left dangling upside down.
Stumps are out. Oh, no.
You're playing the wrong sport. You should be cricket.
Yeah.
Tell us about your sporting career.
Well, again, in where I grew up in Western Sydney, there was no other disabled people around,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my area, or because some disabled kids were still, you know, kept at home, kept out of society.
Yeah.
When my mum and dad, my dad was a rugby league coach, and I would go to football with him every weekend.
Yep.
We'd go as a family if mum wasn't working.
Mhm.
My brothers played, my sister played in the youngest back when the girls could play with the boys.
Yep.
I think up until about the age of 10 or maybe 12, before the girls started to develop and stuff like that,
Mhm.
you know. So, and now there's a full-on women's competition.
Yep. Mhm.
Mate, how good's that?
That's
right?
awesome. Yep.
So, and there's a full-on bloody spazzo competition too. Like we had wheelchair rugby league,
Yeah.
the World
yeah,
Cup.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
so I think didn't the Poms or the French win it this year? I think so.
Poms.
The Poms won it. There you go.
Geez,
Yeah.
nobody.
Yeah, they got to be good at something. So
We've got to give them something.
yeah, we got to give them
Jesus.
something. So sport for me didn't happen for a long time. I mean, PE for me at school, kids used to get me and swing me around by my legs and throw me over the high jump bar, and so no, it's not funny.
It sounds like fun to me.
no.
And trust me, it wasn't meant to be fun.
Yeah, I bet it wasn't.
You know what I mean? And I had one teacher, and his name was Mr. Marbu, Peter Marbu, and he looked like a gorilla, right? Fair dinkum, it looked like he fell asleep and someone threw carpet tiles on him. You know, he was just the hairiest bastard you've ever seen in your life. And he had no hair in his melon,
Oh,
you know,
really?
but he was such a great bloke. Anyway, he lobbied to get a gym set put into the school.
Mm.
So when sport was on, I could go and do gym.
Awesome.
Or when PE was on, I could go and do gym. I did try playing squash in my wheelchair. And back then, I had, remember the old BMX bikes? They had the knobby tyres.
Oh, yeah.
I had knobby tyres on my wheelchair, but it burnt a hole in the back of my stump.
Oh,
So there's
shit.
bloody blood all over the court.
Oh.
You know, lack of feeling because I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so, oh, shit, that's not good. So that was out. When swimming carnivals came around, I couldn't swim real good, or not as quick as the other kids.
Yeah.
So I got to use a boogie board. wipe the floor with
I
everyone.
bet that was fun.
Yeah, you know, so, and I used to do hurdles at in the athletics, but I kept hitting my head. So I had to stop doing that as well.
yeah, I know that feeling.
I'm leaving that one alone.
So I didn't start really sport. I started playing table tennis.
Yep.
Towards the end of high school,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I fell in love with table tennis. So no, I've played a fair bit of table tennis and played for New South Wales and Australia.
That's really
and
cool.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
I've got visions of Forrest Gump in my head right now.
no, not that good.
I've got
right?
visions of JC on the table. Like,
I know,
No,
right?
not allowed to sit on the table. So we had a table like this,
Yep.
set up at the end of the table.
Oh, cool.
okay.
See, so
Yeah.
I tried
That's
at
really
first
cool.
to sit on the table. It's too hard.
Yeah.
See, and I was in a national title once, and I played a midget. And can we call them midgets? What are they? Little people.
Little
Midgets?
Little
people,
people.
You know,
midget.
if
dwarf.
one of them
I
works at
don't know.
McDonald's, they're called a McMidget, right? So,
Oh, God. Midget.
so I really apologise. You know. Anyway, I played this young bloke. He was a great bloke too. You know,
Yeah.
great bloke. But all I could see was his eyes over the top of the end of the table, and only half a paddle.
Oh,
That was it.
God.
And
I said that's what it must look like to other people when Adam's driving, to be honest.
Hey, I get you
But
around.
I wanted to win, so I played corners.
Mm.
And this poor little bugger had to run like 30 steps that way, 30 steps that way, 30 steps that way. So I literally wore him out. But what I didn't know is that they actually get 2 bounces.
Yeah.
Like we get 2
It's just the
bounces
same
in
with like tennis, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't get 2 bounces.
Oh.
He got 2 bounces.
Oh.
Okay, that's
See?
interesting.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the ball had a chance to get to the end of the
Yeah,
table
yeah.
Yep.
where he could reach it. So then I caught on and just played drop shots. Screw him. You know,
Good job.
Yeah, and then I went from table tennis across to weightlifting.
Yeah,
So-
okay. And you did really well on that. too,
I,
yeah.
mate, look, I did okay. Yeah, absolutely. I was in training for the Paras in Sydney.
Yep.
9 months out, I was training very hard, and I was weighing 40 kilos. My competition weight was 39.2, and I was in the under 48 kilogram class. But because I had both my legs lopped off,
Yep.
they added on 2 ninths of your body weight.
Oh.
1 ninth per leg,
Oh.
which meant that everybody else in my weight division
Yep.
that had their legs that had withered weighted toothpicks
Yeah.
had almost 10 kilo extra body weight
Yep.
in their girth,
Yeah.
right? Which is a lot at
Yeah.
that weight level.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
But I was benching. Bill Stelios was my coach,
Mm.
and I was benching, weighing 40 kilos. I was benching 145 kilos. So that's 9 months out,
Yeah.
right? So, and then when the games came around, 9 months out, I got sick and I got diagnosed with some issues and couldn't end up competing. So,
Yep.
That
and then
sucks.
I went and watched, and I cried. because the guy that won the gold medal in my weight division
Yep.
was a little Sri Lankan dude, lifted
Yep.
125.
Oh, nothing worse than that.
Fucking
Hey,
ruined me,
I
Cash.
bet. That's
Ruined
a
me.
tough one
As
to
sick
deal
as I
with.
was,
Yep.
I could have done that with one arm.
Yeah.
You know, but then Laurie Lawrence
Or
got
no
me.
legs for that matter.
Or no legs. But Laurie Lawrence got me, and he
Yep.
and he gave me a very severe talking to, and he said that a gold medal in life is more important than a gold medal in any sport.
True
And
that.
I've never forgotten losses.
Good on him.
Yeah,
Great
true that.
advice,
Yeah,
mate.
yeah.
He's a legend, Laurie.
Yeah.
Absolute legend. Love the guy.
Yeah, awesome. So have you ever actually had a real job?
That's a good question for you too, Ads. No joking.
It is actually.
Yeah. I enjoyed my time. My very first job was actually working in a hardware/produce centre
Oh yeah.
in my hometown of North Richmond in Western Sydney.
Hello, North Richmond.
And g'day Hawkesbury. And it was Alan Dawson's produce. And I only lasted a day because I was on a skateboard and these people had come in and they needed salt bags for their pool. So I'd carry 20 kilo salt bags and throw it in the back of their car.
Yeah.
Or I had to climb up ladders and pack massive paint tins
Oh,
on
yeah.
the shelves. I'd have the handle in my mouth, climb up the ladder.
Oh,
Bloody
Pack it
good
in.
weight training, that.
Right.
Well, back in those days, I was a lot fitter than what I am now, Tash, you know, and I literally had no fat on my body, you know, and I enjoyed that, you know, and I used to have a flat top haircut.
I see. I can picture that.
Yeah,
My
me
older
too.
sister-in-law married to my older brother. Her name's Leonie, and she was a really good hairdresser. And she used to give me the best flat top. Little flies used to come in and land and land on top of me, you know.
There's a landing strip.
Yeah, so that was my very first job. What was yours?
My very first job out of school was I was an employment consultant actually.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was actually. So I was employed. I was doing a traineeship, 2-year traineeship through a company who was an employment agency for people with disabilities. Funniest thing was, in that 2-year traineeship, I was their longest serving staff member because staff kept coming and going, and
Well done.
and I was still the trainee.
Wow. What
And,
about you, Dash?
My first job was as a professional nightclub dancer.
Stripper. I mean,
I wasn't a stripper.
Yeah,
Oh,
Hang on,
Jesus.
hang on. Were you in a cage?
Yes.
Stripper.
stripper.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
I had some clothes on, and there are many ways that you can make it look like you're not wearing a lot, but you actually are.
Pipe cleaners aren't clothes.
Nipple tassels.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I never did them. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, maybe I would have done once, but anyway.
Stripper for sure.
We're going to end up with some viewers asking for photos and stuff.
We're gonna end up with
they
a
can find them online.
We're gonna end up with a fans only page.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Or someone said it's a pleasure to see who. Oh, hello, Tash. It's a pleasure to see you.
Oh, there you go.
And
Hi.
penis. Oh no, wait a minute. Penkless and penkless.
Ah, hello,
Okay.
Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Oh, I thought it was penis. Sorry, Michael.
All right, so the Fast Six. These are 6 questions that we ask all our guests.
Righto.
A little bit random. So,
Quick fire.
quick fire.
Quick fire.
If you could spend 24 hours in the body of somebody else, dead or alive, who would it be?
Halle Berry. Oh no.
Yeah.
See, your brain
My
went
man.
exactly where mine goes every time I hear that.
Well, Halle Berry's my hall pass. You can ask Leanne.
I love
No,
that.
if I could do that, there'd be 2. There'd be Kevin Hart.
Yep.
I like Kevin Hart
yeah.
because I'm the only one that is shorter than him.
This is
You
true.
know, and Dwayne Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Just like the way they do things.
Yeah.
100%.
And I like the way they do things as a team as
Yep.
well. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Second question, what's one food that you would never under any circumstances try or eat?
Can't say one, but I'd say donkey skin.
Donkey
Is that even a food?
In
Oh, I was
China-
going to say, but it is in China.
It's
Yeah.
an aphrodisiac.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, hello.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Um,
So you tried it, did you?
no, Leanne did.
Oh,
And it
God.
stank.
Oh.
Oh, and I would have to say the other one would be I can't eat hot chili. I hate spicy.
Yeah.
Or,
I'm with you.
It ends up giving me the Johnny Cash. You know
Yeah,
the Johnny Cash?
burning ring of
The
fire.
ring of
Yeah,
fire?
Yeah, yeah.
It burns.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Yep. All right. What's the top of your bucket list?
The top of my bucket list
Yep.
would be to... Holy shit, mate. I want to fish in the Abrolhos Islands.
Cool.
You know where that
Can I
is?
come?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You know where it is?
No.
It's in
It
Australia.
sounds fucking
It's
cool.
in
so-
Australia.
yeah. Oh, cool.
And
Okay.
it's in Western Australia,
Yeah,
up
yeah.
near Geraldton.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Beautiful
cool.
up
It
there.
sounds really cool.
It is really
Beautiful.
great. It's
Yeah.
almost it's untouched barrier reef.
Nice.
You know,
Stunning.
yeah, I want to fin there.
You,
fish there. It's
me,
great.
maybe our mutual friend that has the charter.
Tommy.
Yep.
Tommy's a little bit sick actually at the moment.
Oh, is
so,
he really?
Yeah, he's not real well.
Oh, that's no
So
good.
he's on the mend, but he hasn't
Is
been
he?
real well.
Ah,
Big
okay.
shout out to Tommy.
Yeah. Hey, Tommy, how you doing,
Yeah,
mate?
mate. He's
Look after yourself.
absolutely great bloke for a German.
Yeah. All right. So, which celebrity could you see yourself being best with?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin
Dwayne
Hart?
Johnson.
Yep.
Yep.
That works.
Yep.
What's one thing you would do if fear wasn't a factor?
Wonder I could do if fear wasn't a factor.
Yep.
Skydive.
Skydive.
So many people say
Yeah,
that, hey?
I would say bungee jump, but where they're going to tie the cord?
Yes,
I'd be
it's
like,
true. Around your neck, you wouldn't want that.
No, not at all. No, is that it?
Yep.
Another one?
Oh,
Oh, no,
what-
no, there's one more.
No. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
It was my dad
Mm-hmm.
and my old man. I was sitting on the steps of our family home.
Yep.
I watched my two brothers jump on their push bikes,
Mm-hmm.
piss off down the road,
Yep.
and I had a tear
Mm.
because I wanted to be just like them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
And my old man came out with his big fucking fat Greek wog hand, slapped me up the back of the head, and he said, instead of whinging and bitching about the things you can't do, look at the things you can do.
Yep.
You know? And the best piece of advice that I've given anybody else
Mm-hmm.
is that a lot of people look over the fence and think the grass is always greener.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You know what I'd say to that?
Mhm.
Water your own fucking backyard.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
Water your
I
own
love
backyard.
that. Yeah, that's cool.
And make your grass green and let everybody look into your backyard and want
Yeah.
what you have.
Yep.
That's
100%.
really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, excellent. Well, that's those questions, and
That was easy.
Thanks for joining
Thanks,
us for
mate.
that.
Is that it?
Well,
Well,
no.
we've
We've
got-
got a couple more
we've got a
segments
couple
first,
more
but you know.
Are you going to hang out with us?
Well, my ride's booked for 2, so I
For
don't
2.
know if I'll be able to.
You might need to bail.
Yeah.
That's okay. You can
Right.
you can bail if you like.
Ruby, can you hear me? Can you see if my taxi's here? Thanks, Rubes. How good is it having a producer?
I know. She's awesome.
And she's only about 12. So she knows what I can say that now she's not there.
I know, right?
Only problem is she'll go back and listen through it and go, really? I mind you, if someone said I looked 12 and I was an adult, I'd be quite happy.
Yeah,
Although
of course you
Yeah.
would be.
You can't look
Yeah.
12 anyway.
I do not look 12.
112.
Yeah, exactly. Have you not seen the wrinkles that have developed because of you?
Look at you, you got more wrinkles than a packet of Smith's chips.
Oh, jeez. He's saying
Burn.
as he's on his way out.
Burn.
Oh,
Burn, baby.
burn.
Well, hang on. Mr. Penis, Pinkless has said,
Nicholas.
too many people can make grass greener until they have to go out there and mow it. Not yet. Okay,
No, not
thanks, Rubes.
Ah, cool. Well, shall we move on to our next?
Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, and then
Absolutely.
all right, cool. Like two cripples using a beach towel to skydive, this could go anywhere. Welcome to the soapbox session. Do you like that intro?
What about that? Using a beach towel to skydive, you
Like
could
two
go
cripples
anywhere.
using.
Wow.
I thought that was genius.
That's actually how Adam ended up legless. He
Yes.
Decided to give the beach towel a go, and it didn't end up well.
You know, there's actually a cartoon. It's
Oh,
a
is it?
Warner Brothers cartoon.
Oh,
or it might have
serious?
been Merrily Melodies, where this big, strong duck, he's fighting Daffy, and he's getting all the duckling, all the girl duck love him. And anyway, goes skydiving, the shit doesn't open up, and he ends up like us.
Oh.
Short.
Yep.
He got these little web feet sticking out of his ass. It's hilarious. It's actually a real cartoon. A real
I love
cartoon.
that.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
Check it out, brother.
So for the soapbox session, we are going to have a chat about motorbike riders.
Oh, we are. Oh, we
Good
are.
or bad?
I have the utmost respect for people that choose to ride motorbikes.
Yes.
I take issue.
My wife is one of those.
I know, and your wife is. Hello, Elsie.
Hi, Elsie.
We love you.
Yeah.
I do, in some circumstances, take issue with how people ride them, though. Sometimes.
Absolutely agree with you.
I
And she does too.
Yeah, I imagine. I mean, I get that, you can be the world's best bike rider, and it's everyone else on the road that you've got to watch out for, because there are some absolute morons behind
There's
the
a
wheel.
lot of
Absolutely.
morons behind
There
the
is.
wheel. Yeah.
Talking
But-
to two of us.
But we're seeing a lot of issues with people getting knocked off bikes and people dying in accidents and,
Yep.
and
What-
getting really
yeah.
badly hurt.
What about the dude last week that was going down the whole hard shoulder of the highway doing 160 an hour whilst the people in the main lanes of the highway were just standing
M1?
still on the M1, and he ploughed straight into the barrier.
You know what? He had a death warrant.
Yeah, exactly,
And it
that's
was his choice.
and that's it. And but the problem is, like, if he's going to kill himself, that's his own fucking problem.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, and I know this may sound really insensitive because he died, but he was stupid enough to do that.
Absolutely.
But it's the people that have been affected, his loved ones, his friends, his
The people
family,
that saw
and
it.
the people that saw it, that I feel most sorry for in
Yep.
this situation. And like, I get bike riding's fun.
Yep.
It's really cool to be out and feel the air going around your body and just and get out there and to be able to just open up the throttle and go.
Yep.
But you've got to be safe about it.
Of course you do.
Surely you've got to have some sense.
I see it all the time, and for right or wrong, you see people on bikes moving in and out of the traffic when the traffic's
You know
slow.
they're allowed to do that now, right? It's
Yeah.
legal.
They're
Yeah.
allowed to do it, which makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it makes no sense to me at all, because I honestly, aside from doing 160 k's an hour down the shoulder of the road, I can't think of anything more dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Hello.
Hey, did
Oh,
you let him know I'll be 5? Yep,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
You know, like, things changed
Mm.
in Australia when learners went from 250s to 650s.
yeah, 100%.
Like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Yeah.
Who is governing these laws?
When did that
It's
happen?
Stupid.
I don't know exactly,
Yeah,
but why would you want a learner
on a
behind a
650.
650?
Yeah.
You know,
There's-
they can't have people players can't drive
yeah, I was about-
V8s.
that's exactly
You
what
know,
I was
they
going to
can't do
say.
this. They
Yeah.
put a bloody learner on a 650 fucking motorbike.
That is a lot of power to put behind someone that doesn't have a lot of
Oh
skill
my God.
and probably quite young and he hasn't got a huge amount of common sense when it comes to
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
Because
Yep.
a mate of mine learnt, he got out of school, bought a bike, and it was a 250, because that's what he had.
He had to
at the
gap,
time.
yep.
Mind you, we're talking 22 years ago.
Yep,
so,
yep, yep.
But,
And then you have the accidents. Remember last year there was a horrific accident again on the M1 where a trailer came off the back of someone's ute
yeah,
and
yeah.
it hit the motorbike.
I was
Yeah.
in the traffic for
You
that.
were in the traffic,
Unfortunately,
you
I
know,
was.
so,
Yeah, it was awful.
Like that's, I mean, person at fault there is the guy that didn't have his cargo
Yep,
tied
tied down, yeah.
You know,
Yep.
well, they're saying he did and strap broke. So,
Mhm.
you know, it's hard to say, isn't it,
Yeah,
really?
just
I
It's hard
think.
to say.
Do you know what blows my mind about motorcyclists is how many of them you see on the road not wearing protective gear.
Yeah.
Oh,
Going down the highway at like
Wearing
110, 120k an
thongs
hour, and yeah,
shorts.
and I'm like, okay, fine, I get that we're in a hot country, we're in a
Yep.
place that gets very, very warm,
Yep.
but like the chances of you coming off a bike and actually having any form of safety there if you haven't got at least some level of protection, like, don't people realize
Yep.
exactly what
You're going to get
happens?
peeled like a banana, mate.
I've
Yeah,
I've
100%.
still got a bruise, like a very, very faint bruise that you can see up the back of my leg where I came off a bike, and I was only doing, would have been about 20 mile an hour at the time because I was back in the UK. Now this is 20 odd years ago.
So
There
20
is
mile an hour is
still
about 32, 35
yeah,
k's.
yeah. So, and I've still got a slight bruise at the back of my leg, and I was wearing protective clothing.
Yeah.
So, I hate to imagine what you do to your body if you weren't
Mm.
wearing that.
I've
It
seen people
blows my mind.
that ride motorbikes in thongs.
yeah,
Yeah.
You come off a bike at 40 k's on thongs.
yep.
Eh,
You're,
Here we
you're
are.
you're in trouble.
Here we are
Mm.
with no pins,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? I mean, Tasha's doesn't work. And then there's these people who, oh, well, it'll be right.
Yeah, it's they're taking life for granted and
Oh,
taking
aren't
and
they what?
taking their things
Aren't
for
they what?
granted that they
Yeah,
have.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
The-
Well,
sorry, go on.
Go, you go.
Oh, I was just gonna say. It's it just you see some people and they're like, oh, I'm allowed to do this and I'm allowed to do that, but where's the common sense? Like,
Mate, if we could bottle common sense, we'd be bloody
oh,
millionaires.
I reckon.
Well, before we move on, I'm going to say goodbye.
Oh,
Absolutely.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Right, mate.
You know, thank you so much for having me.
mate, thanks
I
for
would
being
like
here.
to do it again.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You
we'll
know,
have you back.
and we'll extend and I'll join you for the whole show. I'd
Absolutely.
love
absolutely.
co-hosting.
Yep.
It'd be absolutely fantastic. So
We've enjoyed having you on, mate.
Thanks,
thank
mate.
you.
Our next subject was actually going to be the NRL, but we'll.
Oh yes, please save
yeah.
that for when I'm here.
Yeah. Well, all right.
Yeah, I can do that. All right.
All right,
Thanks,
mate.
brother.
Thanks for being
Bobby.
here.
Air fist bump.
Air fist bump,
All right.
JC is leaving the building. Well, the good news is we've only got 2 more sections to go, and we're an hour and 3 minutes. So,
Hey, so we're doing okay.
considering our last one was an hour and 45, we're actually doing pretty good.
And this live actually started a little bit before we started the show, so we're probably about an hour in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Wicked.
All right, shall we move on?
Oh, can we? I'm going to hit the button.
Go and do it.
It's the moron of the day.
Why did you just point at me when you said that?
Because
Why?
I just did. It was a visceral reaction. It was a reaction that just kind of subconsciously happened.
It was a rude reaction is what it was.
Read into that whatever you like.
Jesus.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can we just okay? Yeah,
What?
yeah.
What?
You know what's
What?
coming. You know what's coming. All right. You want to point at me? I got a bone to pick. So, Natasha relies on me a lot of the time to drive her places, and that's fine. That's what we do. Picked Tash up this morning from her place, got in the car, and so for those of you that don't know, I put Tasha's chair in the back of my car, then I get in the seat, then pull my chair apart, put my chair in the car.
On the
Got-
back seat.
On the back seat. Got Tash's chair in, got myself in, we're about to go on. Tash goes, I don't know where my keys are, my house keys. I'm like, oh, okay. So we're looking everywhere. And then we figured out they weren't anywhere where we were. Well, so we thought. So I'm like, okay, I'll go inside and back into your house, see if I can find them for you. Tash gave me a whole bunch of places to look. I opened the door, put my chair back together, jumped out of the car, went back inside, searched everywhere she told me, turned the place upside down. Sorry, Chris and Linda. And couldn't find them. Went back out. I'm like, dude, I don't know where your keys are. What? She's like, they're in my chair. They were with her the entire fucking time.
Yeah, you failed to mention that when you came out of the house and said that the keys, you couldn't find the keys, you then had to put my chair together so that I could go and have a look in the house.
Oh yeah, that's. Hey, you just stop making.
I know.
You were just digging yourself in deeper.
I know.
You were digging yourself in deeper, but that's okay with me.
Yeah, I know. I'm a dickhead. But I guess the worst thing about it is that's the second time I've done something like that in about a week, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So the other thing, Jesus.
Whoops.
The other thing is, so as most of you will know, Tash is a wheelchair racer, and we require a special connector that goes from in between our air compressor to pump up the tires on her racing chair to the actual tires. It's just a valve connector, and without that, you can't pump up the tires. There's just nothing you can
got
do.
to pump it up, don't you know?
No,
Pump it.
up.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this is
And,
not.
but do you know what I love about the name of the valve connector?
It's called a crack pipe.
It's called a crack pipe
Well,
because
that's-
it literally looks like a crack pipe.
that's
For
its
those of you who know who know what it's.
I don't think that's officially what it's called, but
It's what everyone calls it.
Every bike shop I've been to, they literally have it in their system as
As
the
a crack pipe. Yeah.
So anyway, couldn't find this thing. We went looking for this thing so I could pump up the tires in Tash's racing chair. Looked everywhere, looked and couldn't find it anywhere. And where was it, Tash?
It was in the place it always lives.
Yes.
Look, I have to add a disclaimer here. I can't see shit. So you're asking the wrong person to look for something in the first place. But it's a little black pipe inside a little black bag. So the chances of me seeing
You
it-
always manage to see things when I fuck up.
It's a skill.
You got a nose for that sort of thing.
It's a skill.
Eyes don't fucking work, so I might as well get a nose for that shit.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, anyway, look. What can I say? I guess on this occasion, you are doing exactly what I did to you the other week for this
Yes,
segment
I'm
and
calling
throwing
you
me
out on your
under the
bullshit.
bus.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't calling you out on your bull. Yes.
It's not bullshit. It's
I'm
it
making
was a genuinely big mistake.
genuinely large fuck up.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no.
But what I love most about my mistakes is they generally make your life harder.
Suck.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Next time I'll just get your chair out and make you go looking for it.
So does that mean today then that I am the moron of the day?
No. Actually, I just wanted to make that. No.
Okay.
But
Fair enough.
Yeah, no. Because this one's going to be real quick because
Okay.
because I don't know the background story to it so much, but
You just wanted to talk about this because it's kind of funny.
because it's just
ridiculous.
And so also for those of you that don't know, I am Tasha's wheelchair racing coach athlete relationship as well as we do this and which gets us talking about the coach athlete relationship. So for those of you that are local to the Gold Coast or Queensland and in Australia, you might have heard of the Brisbane Broncos. I think it's Brisbane Broncos. Selwyn Cobbo was on a podcast. I think it was a podcast.
Brisbane Broncos are an NRL team.
NRL, National Rugby League
Yep.
football. For those of you that live overseas and don't know.
Well, if you say football to anyone living overseas, they'll actually think of football, not rugby as you mean here.
Nah.
Yes.
Whatever.
Football is football. Soccer is not.
Can I get on with it now, please?
Yes, sorry, I have to point that
Please,
out. Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, so young Selwyn Cobbo was on a podcast the other day, and I feel like I saw them sinking some beers as well. I don't know if he was doing that or not. And
That's never a good
I'm
thing.
not going to put that out there, but it looked like they were sinking some beers or somebody was sinking some beers in this podcast that he was doing this interview. Anyway, the question came up and it was like, so what's Kevin Walters, your coach, like? Is he a good coach? And young Selwyn basically said, no, he's pretty average.
Yeah. So
Wow.
he's publicly said in a media interview, my coach is shit.
And it's not like, it's not like he's playing for a local side. He's playing for the Brisbane Broncos,
Oh, Jesus. So am I allowed to take lead from that and say that about you?
No.
No, I would never because you're actually.
You would so.
No, I wouldn't. No, I'll give you props. You're a good coach. You're a great coach.
I appreciate. Thank you.
You won silver for Coach of the Year recently.
I did. Yes.
Yeah. So
Respect my authority.
exactly right.
Something like that. Anyway. Yeah. So anyway, that's my moron of the day. I'm like, who in God's name? I'm not religious, so I don't know why I said that. But who in their right mind calls out their coach on a public social media platform?
Someone that has verbal diarrhea and doesn't know how to have a filter in the right circumstances. A bit like me, really.
Yeah. Who does that? I mean, for starters, there was no way old Kevy was not going to find out.
So, okay, what has been the response of the coach? Do you know this?
They've sat down and they've had a conversation, and apparently they're on good terms now. But can you
imagine that conversation? I would have liked to be a fly on the wall.
Wow.
I could just imagine Coach, what's his name?
Kevin Walters.
That's it. I do know something about rugby, surprisingly, but I just imagine him going up to Selwyn and going, "You fucking dickhead."
Yeah.
You absolute dickhead. Not only have you called out your coach, but like you've let people in on things that are going on behind the scenes that they probably shouldn't be knowing about.
I wonder if Selwyn's looking for recontracting at the end of his term.
Right.
I think he's
That'd be
screwed
interesting.
I think he's screwed just about every chance he's got there, unless of course old Kevy's not going to be there and he's not part of the decision making process. But
Yeah, true
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not privy to their contract situations, either of those guys. So. But I know Kevy does a pretty good job.
Not privy to it, well, surprisingly.
Oddly enough, I'm not. Oddly enough, they don't consult me on this sort of stuff.
Well, they probably should. I mean,
well,
like
they
you're
should.
Coach
Absolutely.
of the Year over here.
I know. Consult me. I will tell you what I think. You might not like it, but I'll tell you. Oh, rightio. All right. Shall we go on to something a little bit?
So basically, I'm the moron of the day, along with this dude that
Selwyn,
said,
yeah.
Yeah.
Selwyn, yes, you are.
So I'm not in very good company, really.
Well, I know.
Okay.
Well,
I guess I'll live with that.
he called out his coach in public, and
And I call you out every minute of every day.
we've got a podcast. It basically revolves around it. So.
Exactly right. Okay. Well, talking about people being slightly idiotic and calling people out and perhaps not being quite so kind, we're going to talk a little bit about kindness now. The kindness virus.
That's all that your voice there is all like sunshine and lollipops, and it's all very good.
The kindness virus.
The kindness virus.
So we're going to end this on a nice note, like
we are.
like to. We always leave this segment till last.
We're gonna talk about a little bit about a experience we had with an awesome guy, and talk a little bit about paying it forward and the idea of paying it forward, I think.
Yep.
So young Natasha and I, and actually my son, we were at the Fletch, as I like to call him, the Fletch. We're at Surface Paradise Surf Life Saving Club.
We were.
For dinner after we'd done some stuff.
Last week.
And anyways, I went up and I was ordering our meals, and before a guy come up behind me, put his card down on the machine and tap for our meals, which, was $60 worth. And I thought, oh, mate, you don't have to do that. He goes, no, I'm buying for you. He goes, I love what you guys do. And I'm like, do you know us? Or, I don't know. I to be honest, I don't even know if he's seen us or knows us, or he might be a listener.
He was from Newcastle, wasn't he?
He was, but he lives here now. I asked him,
okay.
I'm like, you on holiday? He's like, no, I live here now.
Yeah.
So if you are that gentleman and you're watching, you're a bloody legend. And
You're awesome.
You've made it on our podcast.
Yes, and in a positive way, because most people that make it on here probably not quite so positive.
Yeah, exactly. But so that happened, and then after that, I went up and I went and got us some drinks, and sure enough, he's come bounding along, it's like full sprint to the bar. He's like, "No, this is on me," and wouldn't let us pay for anything.
And, what a genuinely nice fella.
Genuinely nice guy. And I'm like, mate, you don't have to. He goes, no, I want to, I really do. And I'm not overly comfortable with that.
No.
Like I'm very happy to pay for my own stuff.
Exactly.
But it was just a genuinely really nice gesture and a nice thing to do. And life's expensive. So it was nice that somebody was able to.
Should we add a disclaimer here that apparently he's quite generous and has done this for other people as well. I'm sure there'll be a few people asking questions as to why he was doing it for two people with disabilities and did he feel sorry for us? But it's not. It's a
My
thing.
Exceptional good looks.
Yeah, I mean that's entirely what it must have been.
Or
Or maybe he just felt sorry for him to being stuck to dinner with me.
maybe you thought I was halfway legless already.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a bumpty bunch.
Yep. Thank you very much.
But no, apparently this fella is very, very kind and generous and has done it for other people in the past as well. So I just think that's such a lovely gesture. If you're in the position to do something like that, because it really does make someone's day. It's a really kind, lovely thing to do. And well, we decided as a result of that, and something that we like to do anyway, that paying it forward is our aim for this week.
Absolutely. So when the whole premise of paying it forward, I guess, is when somebody does somebody. Jesus. This podcast is taking a whole there's
new
a reason
stance.
why this podcast has an explicit rating. When somebody does something nice for you, you pay it forward. You then in turn
do a kindness for somebody else.
Do a kindness for somebody else when you have the opportunity, and it doesn't have to cost $1 million or be super expensive. But and you know what, it feels bloody good to do it.
It does.
It really does.
And both you and I believe in doing this anyway, being genuine and helping anyone in any way we can. We often give time and our energies to helping
100%.
other people because we're in a blessed position. But it's so important that if somebody does something kind for you, something nice for you, that you return that favor in some way, not necessarily to that person, but to somebody else, to try and give a little bit of light and happiness to their
100%,
life.
yeah. And it sure as hell put a smile on my face and ours, and
it did.
And it was really cool because we got to explain to Fletcher
exactly
that there are some really nice people out there who
Yeah.
choose to do nice things. But in turn for that, it's really not. It's really important that you do the same for other people.
Yeah,
And
that was a good lesson for a
was a-
6-year-old boy.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great, and I'm really really grateful. As his dad, I'm really grateful that I got the opportunity to.
Yeah, exactly.
And you as his Tashi, as he likes to call
I
you.
know. I'm so blessed to be called his Tashi. It makes me smile every time.
That's funny. But yeah, so you, sir, are a bloody legend.
Yes,
and,
thank you if you are watching.
Yeah, absolutely. And pay it forward. If you get the opportunity to do nice things for other people, you don't know what kind of day somebody's having,
Exactly.
and
They may be going through some terrible traumatic shit in their life, or just be having a really crappy day, and that one act of kindness has the chance to not just turn their day around, but if they are going through that kind of terrible experience in their life, it can really change things around and put them back on the right track again.
100%.
So you wouldn't think such a simple act of kindness could do that, but it truly genuinely does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got to have a think about how I'm going to pay it forward. And so if you're watching and you have any
Yes.
suggestions, drop it in the comments box.
Absolutely.
Because I've got a few ideas, just paying for meals and stuff like that. If you've got anything interesting or any cool ways that I can pay it forward, I would love to hear what your ideas are.
So we can both pay it forward.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, we do everything as a team.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I've completely forgotten what I was about to say. It was really important.
You're not having another hypo,
I
are you?
don't think so.
Oh my
just here.
God.
Well, my eyes are sat next to me, so
Diabetes strikes again. No, 6.8.
Okay,
You're
perfect.
alive.
I'm alive. It's
I'm
all
alive.
good.
I'm well, and I feel great. I'm alive. I'm well,
Okay.
and I feel. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
shut up. Yeah.
That the listeners going to have no idea what that is. I don't.
It was a
care.
cool chant.
Hey,
Think we're
we've
done.
just got through a whole episode and we're not too badly behind time for once.
Yeah.
Go us.
Ruby's over there, fist pumping and going, "Go, you guys!"
So, who do we know who we have in next week's episode?
I know. I've got a few.
We've got some ideas. Haven't
I've got
we?
some good
Okay.
ideas. So
All right.
make sure. So if you've liked what you've heard today, or even if you haven't, still drop us a like and a subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe to us especially on YouTube. We want to get some more subscribers on there because we're good at this shit.
Right,
We are.
Well, I think we are too,
Yeah.
but
I don't care what anyone else thinks.
That shows in whether people subscribe and people
I know
like
exactly
what
right,
we do.
which is
So,
why we need to get them on.
yeah, absolutely. So, like, subscribe, and if there's anything you want us to talk about on our next app,
Please feel free to drop us a line.
drop us a line, stick it in the comments box, or send us a message, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time, guys. Bye.
ya.
Bye. Well, that's a wrap for this week's episode of Two Cripples, One Pair of Legs. As always, we'd like to thank our studio guests for joining us, and of course to the legends at Podfire for making all of this come to life. If you like what you've heard, or even if we've offended the shit out of you, but you still want to hear more, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also check out our Insta page, twocrips.onepairoflegs, and you'll be the first to know when a new episode drops.